My name's Desraeli, but everyone calls me Des. When I was a boy, I wanted to be an adventurer, a treasure hunter, a colorful character who traveled through Flux and turned nothingness into gold, all the while dispatching monsters, conquering the elements, and vanquishing foes. It was of little consequence that the average life expectancy of a Flux warrior was short. In the confidence of my youth, I was able to see beyond such mundane predicaments and focus on the glory. As a child, I was raised with stories from the Flux. My greatest heroes established their credentials in the Flux, and every young boy plays at being a Flux wizard, able to raise kingdoms from nothingness and rule absolutely. I signed up from a recruitment flyer. Be rich in your lifetime, it exclaimed. Impress your friends, it promised. And test your bravery, it taunted. It was clearly my destiny to earn honor and respect. Just for signing my name, I was the proud recipient of a 12-page contract stating my life was no longer my own. In exchange, I was issued a uniform and given a polished staff. Not only had I been an adventurer at heart, I even looked the part. My orders were to assemble at a run-down tavern in a questionable part of town. The place smelled like an outhouse. It seemed an unlikely venue from which to launch a grand expedition, but not having frequented such establishments before, I wanted to act properly.
Have a drink on the house, kid. A toast to your first time into the Flux.
How'd you know it was my first time?
No reason, kid. Just a lucky guess. But you do need to stand a little closer to your razor.
Well, I thought the beard made me look tougher.
Son, the men in this room know what tough is. A little fuzz on your face only makes you look like you don't know how to shave.
You ever been in the Flux?
Son, I was born for the Flux. But if I stepped in, that'd be it for me. Channeling is a talent. Different people have different amounts. Unfortunately, you don't get much chance to practice because if your conjuring gets away from your control, you're usually dead. Anyway, I'm the talkative type, and this place just gives me a chance to be close to the Flux and gab with people who have plans. Just like you, son. It's a close substitute. Oh, I wish I were there, but I still get to hear about it.
What is the Flux, anyway? Does anyone know?
No one knows for sure, son, or where it even comes from. Don't know why some people can channel and others can't. People fear it because they don't know it. Youngsters adore the mystery of the Flux, but most adults shun it. The parts of the world that border the Flux lands are shunned. They attract the disreputable. The criminal element traffic in Flux goods. A really powerful wizard's creations can last a long time out there, but eventually they fade away. Those scum dealers pass the goods off as real to unsuspecting customers in the real world, leaving before the poor saps discover their mistake. Then there are the ones that deal in women. Women whose surrealistic charms drive men crazy with lust. It can be very, very profitable, but it's a risky business. Any connection with the Flux is risky, and those that gamble may find themselves turned into monsters or losing their minds.
I'm Hill. Didn't I see you at the recruitment center?
Yeah, I was there.
So, you're here to get rich like me? I figured the Flux is the easiest way to do that. I heard there's whole cities made of gold, with jewels as big as your fist cobbling the streets. The stuff's so ancient, the Flux will never wear off. You look kind of small for adventuring. I don't mean no disrespect. You just don't look like a fighting man.
Look, I'm trying to mind my own business.
What's that supposed to mean?
This guy's like those bullies in school who rely on aggression to survive. They think demanding and threatening is communication.
Well, I just want you to know if you get in trouble out there, don't be dependent on me to get you out of it.
I won't be looking at you at all if I can help it.
Are you making fun of me? You got some kind of problem?
Don't get yourself in trouble. Just ignore him. He don't mean no harm.
What do you got to do with this? This guy's looking for some trouble, and I can give it to him. Are you making fun of me?
You want to die right here? Touch him again, and you will. All right, listen up. Let's do the introductions. Gather around, men, while I introduce you to Rocco before we enter the Flux. If he isn't reminded, he forgets you. If he forgets you in the Flux, you're dead. Rocco. Rocco. Pay attention to what I'm saying. Rocco, listen to me. Your name is Rocco Latouche. You've been a Flux wizard for 20 years. You're responsible for these men. This is Ronald. He's been with the team for 6 years. Ronald has a wife and 3 kids in the real world. Ronald saved your life at El Admin during the Flux Wars. He has a long life yet to live. This is Dennis. Dennis was your friend in school and you were best man at his wedding. You're Dennis's boy's godfather. He's called Rocco after you. What's your name, boy?
Disraeli, sir.
This is a new recruit. His name is Disraeli. He's young, and he's green, and he doesn't know what he's getting into. He especially needs you to keep an eye on him. This is Alex. Alex...
Rocco must be the Flux wizard in this company. He sure is a crazy one if he is. I wonder if Flux wizards were created through evolution. Did the millennia of exposure to Flux eventually produce those that are able to control it? Or is Flux channeling something we've always had inborn into us? Is there some ancient ancestry between us and the Flux? The wizard can control whatever it is.
I'm Fontaine. I'm your brother. I've been with you forever. Don't forget me, brother. Oh, man. Jocko, open the portal.
Take it easy, son. Make sure and come back and tell me all about it.
You two falling at the rear. You boys don't get seasick, do you? Because you can get disoriented in the Flux real easy. Try to stare at the man ahead of you if you're getting queasy. That is, unless you're being attacked by some bloodthirsty Flux monster.
This is it.
Knock off the chatter. Move it out. Heads up. You won't last 5 minutes in here.
Yes, sir, Mr. Latouche.
That's Mr. Latouche up front there, guarding your worthless hide, boy. You call me Fontaine.
Yes, Mr. Fontaine.
Just Fontaine, boy.
What's this? Where's all the golden stuff? All I see is a bunch of weird fog.
Knock it off. You boys shut up and settle down. We haven't had new recruits in a long time. I don't know what prompted me to allow them now.
Why not?
We're already a team, more like a family. There's already inter-family rivalries and estrangements and plenty of misunderstandings. Why should we possibly want more?
Well, I appreciate you letting me join. I've dreamed of this for a long time. When all the kids in the neighborhood played, I was always the Flux pirate. I wore my shirt tied around my head, and I crept up on the others to spy. As we got older, everybody just assumed I'd go to the Flux. No one was surprised when I told them. They all asked me to bring them back something.
That sounds familiar.
I want to be rich.
Riches, power, adventure are all part of the Flux wizard mythos. And because those who return successfully create the myths, all the myriad others who are never heard from again are forgotten. Winners write the history. Losers pave the path to ignominy. That's the lure. It's like a lottery. If you win big. No one even contemplates losing. Losers drop out of sight, so there's no reminder of failure, and all youth considers themselves indestructible.
How long have you been in the Flux?
A long time, boy. Guess it's been since I was about your age.
What got you started?
Both my brother and me were planning on it. I can still remember when Rocco came running into our house. He was out of breath, barely able to speak. "I got us in a caravan," he shouted at me. I knew just what he was talking about. We'd been planning on joining a Flux caravan for years. Rocco was the one who made the plans. He was always the captain of the team. The girls always liked him best. I just followed along, watching his back. I'm still watching his back. I remember when we were 8, my granddad, who could channel, brought us to an island filled with stone statues. He told me a story of how each statue used to be a person long ago, but a powerful Flux wizard caught them in his kingdom and changed them, then put them on the island to make the change permanent. My granddad said if we took one of the statues back into the Flux, it would eventually turn back into a man. That made a great impression on me. What would that man think when he finally woke up after so long? Would he be happy to be alive? As a kid, I figured if he was a soldier, then he'd be brave and continued on with his interrupted quest. Now, as a man, I know differently. No one's ever moved one of the statues back into the Flux. It would just be cruel. That's one of the things that age teaches you, to put yourself in the other poor guy's shoes. Anyway, after that, Rocco could never stop talking about it. There were plenty of girls who wanted to marry him, but no, he'd tell them, first, he must travel the Flux. He didn't even know he was a wizard then. We were just planning on riding in the caravans.
How'd he find out he could channel?
That didn't take long.
Jeez, how long does this go on?
Miss Demons, face outwards, back to back. We need weapons. Rocco.
Help me!
Help us! Stop!
What happened?
You okay?
Boy, you don't know what you've done.
I was helping Hill?
You channeled.
Is that wrong? I just wanted, and it happened. It felt like I could just reach out and make it happen.
We don't want any more channelers in this company. We've got something to do, and you would just cause problems. We'll drop you off at the first island.
What? Why? I won't do it again, I promise.
This is for your own good, boy.
Don't call me boy! I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do that. It was an accident.
I told you you'd cause trouble.
But I didn't mean to.
You'll have to find your own way as a channeler. There are plenty of people who will want your services, but I've got some advice for you.
Uh-huh.
You may think you're something special, but channeling is a curse. Everyone will want a piece of you, and they'll try and seduce you to their agenda. You being so young, that's irresistible bait to the worst of the leeches. First, it will be to guide, then they'll want you to lead an expedition. Pretty soon the hangers-on will convince you to start a kingdom, with them as your loyal lackeys, of course. Your direction and goals will be so warped and self-centered, you'll never have a normal life. Or the other possibility is...
I've been here for a week now. Nothing to do but wait. For what? Something to come along? The bad thing is, I'm stranded on an island in the middle of the Flux. The good thing is, I finally made it to the Flux, something I've always dreamed about. There seems to be quite a bit of traffic here, a booming economy and things from the real world. The caravans have dozens of people, mostly dependent on Flux channeling guides. I think there are thousands of Flux islands, some real large ones with real world-like cities. Parents raise families, and some of the businesses go back generations. Trade between islands and the real world is brisk. But no one ever mentions the dark side of the Flux, the monomania, the isolation, the insanity, especially the insanity.
There you are, wimp.
Hill?
Des, I got someone you gotta meet.
Hello, Des. Hill's told me all about you.
What did he tell you?
That you channel.
Yeah, well, I don't know too much about that.
There's a lot we can do for each other, Des, and I'm looking for a real close relationship.
What's your name?
My name's Loki, Des, and like I said, I'm looking forward to our working together here.
Oh, what can I do for you, Loki?
I need some help on a very profitable excursion into the Flux. I need someone who can channel and is willing to establish a close relationship with me.
What kind of excursion? There's only 3 of us?
Hey, Des, who cares? She said profit, and that's what I came here for. I'm in.
I know you're with me, Hill, but I want Dez's answer.
Yeah, well, I guess I'm in too.
Good. You've made the right choice. Now follow me and stay close.
How long have you been in the Flux?
Oh, a while.
How old are you?
Come on, Des. Ladies don't say.
Okay, then. Tell me about yourself. Where are you from, and who's your family and all that?
It's a complicated story. Maybe I'll tell you someday.
Well, where are we going, then? I think I have a right to know that, at least.
I'll tell you when you need to know. Why is it that men always need to know everything? Can't you find something to talk about without it always being a question and answer session? We've just met and already you want my life story. Men never learn to have civilized conversations. You're either silent and stoic or just plain pests.
How does that apply to me? I'd never thought much about it before, but I guess she is right. I've never been one for small talk, and I'd get right to the heart of the matter. I suppose people who don't know me think I'm being pushy, but I'm not. I just want to know what's going on around me. Usually I listen long enough to give someone a chance to prove that what they're saying isn't worth listening to.
I guess you can know that I've got a map.
A map?
My family has traveled the Flux throughout history. This secret map has been in our possession for generations, passed from grandfather to father, father to son.
I'm not trying to pry, but how'd you get it?
It's mine. I will use what the map leads to as it deserves to be used. Women can channel just as well as men, you know.
Can you channel?
All those questions again? That's what I have you for. You want to help me, don't you?
I had no idea what was going on between Loki and me. I recognize Loki wants something, and she may even be being extra nice to get it, but that's okay with me. I think she likes me, but I really don't know for sure. I've never been able to understand women. It always seems like they have some hidden agenda that I should know about, but don't. My mom was like that to my dad. He seemed almost oblivious to what was going on around him, and she seemed amused by life's little mysteries. That must be the fundamental difference between men and women. Men plan, pursue, and attack every event in their life, while women wait for life to happen, weaving each event into a tapestry that only they can see. I've wondered how I was being woven into Loki's tapestry, and if I'd like it if I knew.
Des, let's see how you channel. Make something for me, please.
Yeah, Des, do some gold.
Gold? What's Flux gold worth right now? Oh, you idiot! You didn't fix the transformation in your mind strong enough. Do something. Don't you know what you're doing?
No, I guess not.
A sorry lot you are. I hired you to help me, not be your babysitter.
Hey, wait a minute. How did the sword appear?
You did it. When you saw me in danger. Unfortunately, Des, uncontrolled channeling is very dangerous and could be a sign of a mind weakened by the Flux. You'll have to be careful that you don't drift into insanity. Try to control it better.
What? I didn't feel anything like I did before when I channeled. Wouldn't I have felt something at least?
Look at me closely.
You're changing. You look different. How?
Again, it was you, Des.
I didn't change you.
Yes, you did, Des. Subconsciously, you wanted me to be more beautiful, so you made me that way.
I don't think so. I wouldn't have changed you because I like how you were.
No, you didn't, or you wouldn't have changed me. The malaise is taking you. You're losing yourself to the Flux. Pretty soon all of your thoughts will be unguarded. The Flux will bend your unconscious will. This is the price you pay for attempting to be a Flux wizard when you're unprepared.
I don't understand it. How could I be losing control of my mind? I've been feeling different since coming into the Flux, but with all that's happened, who wouldn't? This is new to me. Little uncontrolled incidents don't necessarily mean anything. Maybe I unconsciously wanted Loki to look different. Maybe I just want to succeed in pleasing her. It makes sense that I'd be thinking about things that would help, but wouldn't I know or be able to feel if I were channeling? Loki!
Halt there! These are the guardians of Taos. They mean you no harm. Dost thou wish to enter the kingdom of Taos under the stewardship of King Lycos?
King who?
Quiet, you fool. Yes, we wish to enter your kingdom and get audience with your king.
You have a wizard with you?
We have a wizard of sorts, yes.
Good! We have been sent to escort you. Follow me. Carefully now. Bow down to King Lycos.
No, no, my children, rise up. I'm not really a king. I just watch over this place here, what you might call a benevolent dictator. Come with me. Actually, I'm lucky, and my bouts of egomaniacal self-centricity are long past. But I assure you, in my day I could be as much the tyrant as any all-powerful Flux god. That's what age does. It mellows you out.
This is how I should live.
Yeah, I could get used to this.
Come into my humble abode, won't you, please?
You gotta be kidding. Is this some kind of joke?
I have come to appreciate life's little treasures.
I like it. It makes me feel comfortable.
It would.
You appear to be a man of discernment and fine distinction. Islands are the result of powerful Flux wizards who believe in their creations so strongly and so long that they become real.
Oh.
Many wizards settle down into their own kingdoms. Non-channelers become the peasants. It's a good life for people who have little else to look forward to. Most men even bring their wives and families and tend the soil and harvest the crops, just like they would in the real world. The best thing is, if they want anything, they just petition the Flux wizard to create it for them. The more powerful the wizard, the better the life. The bad thing is that everyone is totally dependent on the wizard for both their livelihoods and lives. This is not much different than kingdoms and monarchies of the real world, except in this case, if the king dies, so do the people under his protection. This makes the people very conscious of their wizard's health. In my case, I'm getting old, older than you know. One of the advantages, or disadvantages, of being a Flux wizard is that you live a long life. Whether that life is prosperous, that's up to you. All my people here are second or third generation. They've been here their whole lives. I've repeatedly offered to lead them back to the real world, but of course they refuse. They know no other life but this one. I keep hoping an heir will be born to someone here. We need someone who can channel Flux, one who can assume my mantle as protector. But that hasn't happened yet, and time is getting short. Either this kingdom turns into an island before I die, or everyone is abandoned. That's why we need a strong channeler. Are you that person?
How'd you know I could channel?
Your power is very strong. So strong I can feel it. That's why I sent my guards out to find you. You can have anything you want, and the people will do it willingly. If you want to set yourself up as king, so be it. Any woman will go to you willingly. The people will treat you with deference and respect. I implore you, please stay with us.
He'll have to think about it, Your Majesty. He's impressing on you, Des. Can't you see that?
What do you mean?
He wants you to stay, so he's impressing the desire to stay on you.
Impressing?
Mind control, Des. He's telling you how to think.
No. I'd know. Anyway, why would he do that?
Because he needs you to perpetuate his kingdom.
I can't believe it. He's such a nice old man.
What are you thinking? You don't know if he's nice or not. You don't even know if he's really an old man. This whole kingdom could simply be a trap to catch unwary flux channelers.
For what purpose?
There's all kinds of reasons. Don't argue with me, just trust me. I'm looking out for your best of interests. Let's sleep on it and decide in the morning, okay?
And suddenly, it all seemed so clear. Whereas a moment before, all the doubts Loki expressed about King Lycos seemed ridiculous, now they made sense. Was my paranoia slow to react? Normally, my impressions of people held true. Perhaps the flux even distorts personalities. But if that were so, who am I? Really?
Though I regret your choice not to stay with us in Rain, I respect your decision, and I wish you well on your journey. My personal guards will escort you to the city gate. Now, if there is nothing else that we can do for you, I bid you good day, travelers.
King Lycos, can you do one more thing for us?
What may that be, young wizard?
Can you show us how to read this map?
This isn't actually a map. It's an incantation.
Incantation?
Incantations can be used in the Flux like keys. For example, I have an incantation to get to my kingdom from the real world immediately, without traveling by caravan. However, I haven't used it in ages. This one looks to be written in old script.
Would it work for us?
It isn't yours to ask.
I would suppose so.
Now that I've been out in the Flux for a while, it's no longer an attractive mystery. It's exciting, certainly, but I'm lonely. Now that my vague goal of becoming a Flux adventurer is fulfilled, I haven't yet identified what I'm going to do next. Hill's greed and Loki's secrecy have somehow become my own motivation. It feels like a weakness. I should have clear plans of my own. It's embarrassing that I haven't even fully educated myself about the Flux. Even Hill seems to be more informed than me about particular aspects of the Flux. Have my goals always been so empty and petty? Can I really say that these people lead the kind of life I want? Are we going there?
Where'd that come from? It wasn't there before.
Des made it.
I didn't make it. Wouldn't I know if I made it?
It's symptomatic of your oncoming madness. You probably don't have long before you're completely mad. I'm so sorry, Des.
What was she saying? Madness? Insanity? Was I unaware while my mind transmuted the Flux? What was she talking about? I calmed my panic. Then I thought, is panic symptomatic of madness also? The panic intensified. Stop yourself, I commanded. Calm down! I forced myself to breathe deeply and evenly. I might just be confused. The Flux was confusing me. I've got to concentrate. From now on, I will analyze every one of my own thoughts. I'll pay attention to my every gesture. If there's rogue channeling going on here, especially rogue channeling by me, I'm going to catch it.
Let's go.
I'm getting pretty good at this.
Quit fooling around.
What'd I do?
What?
Whoa.
Run!
I'm not running. If a bridge is going to create itself without me knowing it, then I was going to consciously command it to stay put. No more am I going to be cowered by indecision and doubt. My confidence wells up. Does this feeling of power accompany all Flux wizards? If so, their delusions of grandeur may not be so delusional. It was simple. As the collapsing stones approached, I commanded them not to collapse. Then, after they had stopped collapsing, I commanded them to return to their pre-collapse state. Come on back! It's okay now.
What now?
Des, make it go away.
What now?
Fight!
What now?
I can't make it go away.
The Flux Ogre isn't animate, you idiot. It can concentrate to block you.
I think he's gonna eat us.
He's not going to eat us.
So, he's not gonna eat us. He'll just leave us here helpless until something that is going to eat us shows up.
What?
Well, what do we have here? Rats in a cage.
What are you doing here?
The beast was ours. This cage was ours. I'm impressed you got this far, boy, but leave this to the men. Loki, how have you been?
Shut up, Fontaine.
Loki, you still like me better than I like you. Dear sister, I see you've trapped 2 more innocent souls in your evil web.
What's going on here?
My 2 idiot brothers. I can never tell which one of you is more insane.
You should be watching your own stability, sister.
Look who's talking. I was here first. The orb is mine.
So it was you who stole Father's travel incantation. I always thought so, but Rocco said no, that you wouldn't do that. But I knew better.
With Rocco a vegetable, I'm next in line, Fontaine. It was rightfully mine.
We'll see how Rocco feels about that.
What's he going to do? Cluck at me? The boy here's almost as powerful as Rocco, and he's mine.
Quit hassling her.
Him I can understand. You, I warned about people like her.
She never coerced us into anything.
Not that you'd ever be able to tell, boy. She's a powerful channeler. My family's ripe with them.
You can channel? Then it was you doing those things. Why did you try to convince me I was going insane?
She's just like that, boy. She likes to keep her options open, which means everything's a secret. She's a powerful channeler, and evil at that. But by bringing you along, it gave her added protection and put her in a position to do what she's doing right now. You can't break this cage. I'll have Rocco let you out when we leave. I advise you to split with these 2 when you can.
Break the cage.
Don't try it, boy. She'll control you if you let her. She's impressing on you. Fight it, boy. Don't let her do it.
I know what impressing is, and she isn't controlling me.
Destroy him.
You're doing what she wants you to do. Stop being a boy. Be your own man.
I felt the power welling inside me. If before it had only been a trickle, now it was a fountain. Warm energy flowed in the reverse direction from my chest to my appendages. The numbness started in the tips of my fingers and quickly consumed my hands. The rest of my body may also have been feeling the effects, but I was concentrating on what was happening just behind my eyes, in my mind's center. The whole that is me is becoming less accessible, is being sealed off. I fight to regain the mastery of my deeper self, but am only capable of the most basic thoughts. Loki seems so beautiful. I didn't believe Fontaine. I don't want to believe him. I try to think logically, but my head aches with the constant refrain. Kill, kill, kill. The simple suspicion that these aren't my own thoughts, that there are her thoughts being pressed upon me becomes more certain. I concentrate on that one clear piece of logic, and am surprised to find more and more of myself inside the fog. With the discovery of myself comes anger. Anger that has no focus at first, but gradually settles on my predicament. I want out of this fog. I want my thoughts to myself. Determination wells up in me.
His focus channeling has uncovered the artifact.
The orb, it's mine at last.
Gold.
Stop them.
Loki! Wait for us!
Stop her. Don't let her touch the artifact.
Loki! Hell!
Ah, you idiots. It's me who now has the orb. I deserve it, and I won't let anyone else steal it. I own it and the power it brings.
Loki, no. What kind of delusions have you convinced yourself of? The artifact isn't yours. Release it before it consumes you.
I can feel it. I can feel the power flowing in me. I'm bursting. I will become the Avenger.
Her sanity is lost. She means to destroy us.
No, she's not like that.
Look, boy, look for yourself. Does that look like Loki? Get away.
Hell!
Oh! Oh!
It killed him.
She is it, and she's going to kill us, too, if we don't get out of here. Run. Roko, change me.
Fontaine, are you all right? Seeing Fontaine caused a new wave of emotion, replacing the confusion that had incapacitated me before. How had I been so completely fooled? Was I so naive, so immature that I could be duped so easily? I hoped much of the blame would be laid on her flux powers, but even then, there were plenty of hints I simply ignored or was too blinded by infatuation to see.
Take Fontaine's hand, then take mine. Join with me. Follow my thoughts. Concentrate as I do.
What were once vague apprehensions began to solidify into a new emotion. I could feel a new sense erupting inside. I didn't want revenge. I wanted to set things right. What might have been anger was instead mostly indignation. I'd been made a fool, a dupe, a clown. And that ugly creature before me, the one who I just knew was taking unmitigated glee in her conquest, who would now become even more manipulative with the orb, enhancing her power, was the cause of it all. This must be rectified. Are you okay?
Do I look okay?
Well, you certainly sound okay. What happened?
Roko combined our powers. She was caught unaware by the surprise of 3 Flux wizards. Roko transported her through a gate to who knows where. Someplace far from here, I hope, where even my sister can't get back.
You can channel too?
Like I said, it runs in the family.
Take the orb and go back to the real world. Take your life back while you still can. I give you this chance.
But what about you?
We've decided to create our own island here.
Don't you want the orb?
My brother gave it to you. I haven't seen him so lucid in 15 years. That was his gift to me, to let me know he's still in there. So take what is given and do as he says and get out of here. And Roku will have no problems turning this whole place into an island.
It's hard to believe I was so young once. That cocky self-assurance of youth seems so distant and indistinct now. I can only vaguely remember what my feelings were before I first channeled. It seems possible that youth ends where experience begins. There you are, a mere boy, full-grown maybe, but immature in mind. Everything seems possible. Then suddenly, one day you shake your head and blink, surprised, and you say to yourself, what do I do now? The possibilities are endless.